Alright, I'll make you a quick video here on a tool that I just made right now. So these are the Magnum heads, and I'm getting ready to work my throat and achieve my 90% intake to throat ratio. So first thing, measure your valve. Just because it says this is a 192 valve or your 202 160s doesn't mean that that's what it actually is. This one, I think I measured at 1.917 and not a 192 like most people would tell you a Magnum valve is. This actually come out 1.917. So I based my 90% rule off of the actual valve diameter. Then the other thing is, so in the past, normally what I do is I take my calipers here and I set it to, 88, 89%. And I do my carbide work, and then by the time I come in with a sand roll, that's going to get me to my 90%. The issue is on this one, so I want to be centered over my valve. And if I just take my 90%, there's no guarantee that it isn't offset to one side or the other, or oval or whatever, not concentric with the center of the valve. So I took this 5/16 bolt, I put a little bit of blue tape around the threads just to make it a snugger fit in the guide there. And then that doesn't mark up the guide as well with the threads from the bolt, because I got a little blue painter's tape wrapped around the threads. So I tapped that in till it's a decent fit. Then I subtracted this bolt, the stainless 5/16 bolt here. Actually comes out, I think 0.306 was what I measured the stem of the bolt at. Okay, so then I need to take my, I'm going to say 88%. I know we're talking 90% rule here, but I'm saying you start on 88%, and then with your sand roll you can do your finishing touches and not go over your 90%. So I measured my valve, I multiplied that by 0.88 to get my 88%. Then I had to subtract the 306 diameter of this stainless bolt. Then that figure I divided by 2 to give me what I should have on each side of this bolt. And that will keep me centered on my valve. The problem is this tool I can only make so small, and I need about 0.690, and I cannot go 0.690. So I ran over to the bolt bin, I grabbed another bolt. Now this one, you can see I ground down this one side and I worked it. Well, you guys get the point. So I worked this down to my 690. When I got two hands here, it's 690. Now I can take this flat here, put it against the bolt, and go ahead and run that around. And so I'm going to grind with my carbide bit until this just passes through all the way around. That's going to keep me centered with my valve on my throat. The other thing you can do there is, if I wanted to come in here with machinist die and mark this out, and I can use the edge of this, putting it down in here and running it around, and that's going to leave me a line on my machinist die that I can see I need to open up the bolt to the throat without having to constantly recheck and recheck and recheck. Anyhow, it's just one method. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but just something to keep in mind. Make your own tools and have at it.